Before we start, I want you to hit that red subscribe button so that you never miss out on any of our videos. Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to Slam Dunk Central. The NBA usually finds success in what its players do, but that's not to say that they haven't been a few stories to talk about involving negative actions. In fact, there have been many embarrassing moments in the NBA's history. Here's a list of the 8 NBA disaster moments that they want you to forget. Dennis Rodman kicks photographer.
Missed it. Dennis fights for the rebound, tapped it out, and it'll belong to Minnesota.
He kicked the cameraman. He was really upset.
The mercurial NBA star had more than his share of embarrassing moments. In 1997, a low moment cost him 11 games and a $25,000 fine for kicking a cameraman in Minneapolis. Commissioner David Stern had his fill of the forward's antics in announcing the punishment until Dennis can provide meaningful assurances that he will conform his conduct on the playing court to acceptable standards, including not placing others at physical risk. His suspension will continue, Stern said in a statement. During the period of Rodman's suspension, he will be required to meet with a counselor designated by the NBA. The ban didn't deter Dennis Rodman from continuing to be one of the most colorful and controversial characters in all of sports. The 1918 final score game, the lowest scored game in NBA history, November 22nd, 1950. The Minneapolis Lakers versus the Fox Wayne Pistons. The Lakers had not lost a home game on their court in over 3 years, and with their 3 big defensive big men and their smaller court, it was tough to do so the Pistons devised a plan to beat them, kill the clock. From the tip, they stood at half court with the ball until someone came out to guard them. They held the ball for long periods of time, between 3 to 5 minutes. George McCann made all 4 of the Lakers' field goals and 7 free throws, leading the game with 15 points. Bob Harrison made 2 free throws and Jim Pollard made 1, totaling 18 points. On the Pistons side of things, John Oldham, Curly Armstrong, Larry Faust, and John Hargis each made 1 field goal, while John Oldman and Fried Schaus each made 1 free throw. Carly Armstrong and Jack Karras made 3, and Larry Faust made 1. I'm sorry, hang on. Len Bias's sudden death.
There's no reason for it. I would understand if it was a reason for it, but there was no reason for the powers to be.
Len Bias was just selected 2nd overall in the 1986 NBA draft by the defending champion Boston Celtics. They got that pick due to a trade with the Supersonics in 1984. The next day, he signed an acceptance and product endorsement ceremony with the Celtics. He got a deal with Reebok for a 5-year deal with about $1.6 million. After returning home, he got his brand new car and went to the University of Maryland, his alma mater. At about 3 or 4 in the morning, Bias and several teammates repeatedly took cocaine in his dorm. At about 6:30 a.m., he had a seizure and collapsed. When 911 was officially called, Bias was unconscious and not breathing. The emergency teams could not revive him. He was officially pronounced dead at 8:55 a.m., 2 days after being drafted into the league. There is a 30 for 30 called without bias about this incident. Isaiah Thomas's tenure as Knicks general manager and coach. This is as low as you can go managerially in the NBA. Isaiah Thomas's reign as a coach and general manager of the New York Knicks effectively destroyed the franchise for the time being. He made sexually inappropriate comments and advances to former Knicks marketing executive Anancha Brown Sanders. After the Knicks were forced to pay $11.6 million in damages and following a terrible 23-59 season in 2007 to 2008, Thomas was forced out of town. Latrell Sprewell attacks PJ Carlesimo. The Golden State Warriors brought PJ Carlesimo in to turn the franchise around in 1997, but it didn't take long for things with star Latrell Sprewell to take a major turn. On December 1st, Sprewell choked Carlesimo during a closed-door practice, was ejected from practice, and returned later to throw a punch at the coach. Carlesimo showed up to press conference later with marks on his face, and it didn't take long for the story to take off. Sprewell was initially given a 10-day suspension, which was changed to a season-long suspension by the NBA a few days later. While he successfully challenged the length of that suspension, his time with Golden State came to an end. The Warriors would finish with 19 wins, and Sprewell could move to the New York Knicks the following season. Magic Johnson's confession. On November 7th, 1991, rumors circulated that early in the morning that Magic Johnson was retiring. But why? Later, Magic revealed that he had attained HIV. He contracted the disease amidst many sexual encounters with women during his playing days. The NBA took the biggest hit here, and they immediately took a mental note of players who were sleazes alike. Guns in the Wizards' locker room. It all started over a card game on an airplane ride. When players arrived at the court, Gilbert Arenas had 4 guns on display in his locker. He told Javarius Crittenton to pick one so he could shoot him with it. Javarius reported by saying he already had one, loaded, cocked, and pointed right at him. The room that was once full of laughter and conversation had a sudden chill to it. Taking them only a few seconds to realize it was real, they ran out and locked the door behind them, except for Karim Butler, who tried to talk calmly to Javarius. Taking them only a few seconds to realize it was real, they ran out and locked the door behind them, except for Caron Butler, who tried to calmly talk to Javarius, reminding him that his life was in the life if he pulled that trigger. Both men got suspended for the rest of the season. Arenas served 30 days in a halfway house and was out of the NBA 2 seasons later. Javarius never played in the NBA again and is currently serving a 23-year prison sentence for a gangland shooting gone wrong. Greg Oden sends naughty pictures of himself. Not only has Greg Oden's career thus far been a disappointment and much worse than Kevin Durant's, but in the summer of 2009, he came under heat for pictures of his nude self that were floating around the internet. The only thing that might make this situation worse is his abysmal NBA career. This brings us to the end of our video. I hope you enjoyed it. Hit like if you did, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss any of our videos in the future. Also, watch the next 2 videos on your screen because I'm sure you're going to love them. And with that, I'll see you in the next video.